Well, we're back again for another Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord devlog, and if I sound a little bit dead inside, that is because I am. But welcome back, and we're going to be talking about a bit of the scenery and the scene building in Bannerlord today, so enjoy the video. Once again, it's another interview. Please kill me. But do not fret, this interview is actually pretty interesting. So it's very much talking about all the random stuff, like what's his favourite faction and all that stuff. So we're moving on to some of the actual information that we get from this, and this is two new screenshots and a bit about modding and what we're going to be able to do in terms of scene editor. All of us are going to get the same tools that they've been able to use to build the maps in Bannerlord, which means, well, it will obviously look a bit shinier, the UI will look a bit nicer, it will be a bit more user friendly, but it's going to be pretty much the same tools, so we're going to be able to build all our maps from scratch exactly the way they did it in game, which is a lot more of an improvement from Warband when, my god, was that scene editor a hassle to use. But there's a bit of an addition onto this. Because of this enhancement and this improvement on their scene editors and the way that they've been able to make maps, there's no longer random map generation, which means in Warband, it's mostly used for when you're doing siege events or community battles, you do a random plains, or you do a random forest large, or random forest medium, or random desert. This generated a random map that was just a plain map with hills or river in it, and it was good for doing the line battles and all that good stuff. But they are no longer in the game. It's only the maps that have been made by Tailwars and maps that we're going to be able to make as a community ourselves, which I think is a bit better, because the random maps, while they were good for Warband, I think it's a lot better if you've got controlled situations. They've been able to create these maps with nothing on them that are going to be used for community events, so don't worry, they'll still be there. And of course, even if there aren't that many, everyone's going to have the chance and all the tools to make them, so we're going to have hundreds of them, so that's not even a worry. They're just going to be a bit more controlled, which means that they'll probably work a lot better, because a lot of the time with random maps, you generate a map and there'd be too many hills and everyone would complain in chat, too many hills, and you'd have to change it again until you got a nice flat one or with some rolling hills. So this, at least we know we won't have to keep sorting through the maps and we'll know exactly what we're getting. Now they're creating different things in order to create variety to the maps, of course. Now they say in the developer blog that they add multiple elements to create fun interactions between cavalry and infantry. For example, ditches to disrupt cavalry charges, or serpentine corridors to slow them down, small fences that only cavalry can actually jump over, or paths that are too time consuming for infantry to use that would be more advantageous for a cavalry to go down in order to maneuver around a battlefield a lot quicker than any infantry could hope of doing. So they are definitely creating variety throughout the map, so it's going to add a new dynamic to some of the community events, whether you use your cavalry to your advantage or whether you just charge them into the wrong situations. Not only are the opposing side going to determine whether you come out on top, but also your use of the geography around you. Now these two screenshots that I mentioned earlier are a beautiful Azerai sort of nation area. We're in the desert where you can see the sand-built settlements. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I have to say the maps look pretty big. We don't know the exact size of the maps, but they look like they're going to be pretty nice. And the second one is a Sturgeon coastal city, and this is probably my favourite screenshot that we've probably got so far in Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. The detail on the reflections in the water. You can see the dock there. You can see a boat pulling up, the detail on the houses and the thatched roofs, and of course the castle on top of the hill. In Warband, in the single player, it was a castle, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't much around it, but it's nice that they've actually got whole settlements in here as well, which is going to add new dynamics, hiding around corners, fighting in the streets, choke points, instead of just charging up to a castle in sieges. So I'm excited to see how that's going to work in community events and single player. But that's it for this week's developer blog for Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you just feel like it. I don't know, maybe. And before I end it quickly, there is one more day of the Chrono GG sale where they put one game a day and get a massive discount. It's Slay the Spire today. The reason that I made videos on things like Hellblade and Vermintide 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance for promoting this game is because that kind of relates to my channel. This one doesn't very much, so I'm putting it at the end of the video just in case you were interested and you want to get a big discount on the game. Go and check it out. There's a link in the description. It's my affiliate link. I get a tiny little kickback from it if you do as well, so you help support the channel. But thank you guys for watching, and until then, I will see you in the next one.